Is it possible for water to vanish into thin air? This is the question that has baffled scientists and tourists who have visited the Devil's Kettle at least since 1895. The Devil's Kettle is a waterfall in northern Minnesota. It was named by French fur traders because of its unusual shape and features. It's been described as one of the most beautiful waterfalls in America and as one of the greatest natural mysteries in the world. To get to the Devil's Kettle, you need to hike about 3 miles along the Brule River in the Superior National Forest. At first glance, it doesn't look like anything special. It's just a small waterfall with a pool at its base. But if you look closer, you'll notice that the water seems to disappear before reaching the pool. There are no fish there, and nobody has ever seen a body of water just vanish like that before. One day, some boys decided to take a raft out onto the lake and see what would happen. They were prepared to go over the falls, but they never came out on the other side. One time, a log was tossed into the air, and people watched it sail through the air, turning and tumbling all the way down. However, when the log should have hit the water, it wasn't there. All that was left was the sound of water trickling down from the rocks above. Nobody knows where it went or what happened to it. Some say it simply evaporates, but we know that can't be true because sometimes mist hangs in the air after it's evaporated. And that's not the case here. So what does happen to the water? Well, according to legend, it's said that any boat or raft that goes over the falls disappears forever. It's believed that the Devil's Kettle is actually a portal to hell itself. Some believe the waterfall is cursed, and those who go missing are now stuck in an eternal state between heaven and hell. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. The Devil's Kettle isn't the only place where things have gone missing. Back in 2013, a young mother went missing during a family camping trip. She was last seen tending to a campfire while her husband slept in their tent. He woke up and noticed she had disappeared. Her backpack was still there, but there was no sign of her anywhere. An extensive search was launched, and hundreds of volunteers combed through the surrounding areas, but she was nowhere to be found. Divers searched the water, but they didn't find anything. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Authorities believe she may have wandered off and fallen into the nearby river, but they never recovered her body. It's one of many missing persons cases that have occurred near the waterfall, and people believe it may have something to do with the waterfall itself. In another incident, a man went missing after going for a swim in the lake. His friends said he was a strong swimmer, so they weren't too worried when he didn't resurface. But after a few minutes, they started to get scared. They called for help, and divers were sent in to search for him, but he was nowhere to be found. Some people claimed they saw his car in the parking lot, but no one had seen him since he went underwater. Was he trying to warn them about the dangers of the Devil's Kettle, or was he simply lost at sea? We don't know. But there are others who say it may have something to do with the fact that he ignored warnings from locals not to swim in the lake. Legend says that anyone who swims in the lake will disappear. And so far, it looks like that's exactly what happened to him. According to local legends, the waterfall was created when the devil himself split the earth in half with his pitchfork. There are also stories of strange lights being seen around the waterfall at night, leading some to believe that it's haunted. And there are even rumors that the spirits of those who have gone missing can be heard crying out from inside the lake. There are also other stories about the waterfall that have led people to believe it's haunted. One of these stories comes from a local lumberjack who was working in the area during the 19th century. He claimed to have seen a woman standing on the edge of the waterfall, and he called out to her, but she didn't respond. Instead, she turned and walked away, and he realized she was a ghost. He tried to follow her, but she vanished into thin air. Another story comes from a group of hikers who were walking in the area. They heard what sounded like screams in the forest, but when they looked around, they couldn't see anyone. They continued hiking until they reached the Devil's Kettle, and that's when they saw the source of the screams. It was the ghost of a woman who was standing on the edge of the waterfall and crying out for help. She then threw herself into the water and disappeared. There are also stories of animals that have been affected by the Devil's Kettle. One of these stories comes from a local fisherman who was casting his line in the lake one day. He felt a sudden tug on his line and thought he had caught a fish. But when he reeled it in, he found that it was a dead bird. The bird's wings were clipped, and it looked like it had been torn apart by some kind of animal. But the fisherman knew that there weren't any predators in the lake that could have done this. He believed that the bird had been sacrificed by a cult that was using the lake as a meeting ground. Other fishermen have reported finding dead animals in the lake, including snakes, turtles, and frogs. Some believe that these animals were brought to the lake intentionally as offerings to the devil, while others believe that they simply drowned. Many people have tried to explain the devil's kettle phenomenon, but no one knows for sure what happens to the water or why so many people and animals have gone missing near the falls. One theory is that the water actually evaporates, but that doesn't explain why logs and other objects have been seen disappearing as well. Another theory is that the water flows underground, but this hasn't been proven either. There's also the legend that the devil's kettle is actually a portal to another dimension or even hell itself. While this may sound far-fetched, it's certainly possible that there are places in our world that we don't understand yet. Perhaps one day science will be able to explain the devil's kettle, but until then, it remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of our time. What do you think happens to the water? Is it possible for water to vanish into thin air? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. The Devil's Kettle is located in northern Minnesota and it's open to the public year-round. If you're in the area, we highly recommend checking it out. Just be careful if you decide to go swimming. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out more content. With that, we'll see you next time.